Let me say a couple things about this. So let me tell you how my day went that day. So he said what he said, and I didn't have another question ready, which was a bit of a rookie mistake there. But I was like surprised by it because I did not know that there was an issue. A lot of times what happens is if a fighter has an issue with you, they often reach out to you privately, or their management reaches out to you privately, or sometimes their promoter reaches out to you privately. This has happened a number of times. Let me say something in a wider sense. As I speak to you right now, there are any number of fighter-journalist beefs going on that are all beneath the surface. This is a constant. It happens all the time. Now, it doesn't always happen with Jon Jones, as far as I know. I mean, it does happen a lot with him, actually, but you get the idea. It's not tied to Jon. It happens all the time. And sometimes camps won't talk to certain websites. Sometimes fighters won't talk to certain shows. Sometimes managers won't talk to certain journalists, and there are constant beefs happening all over the place. Usually, they all get resolved, and usually they all stay below the surface. In fact, I'm not going to say their names because I don't want them to get in any kind of public scrutiny. Let me assure you, and I'm going to be very clear about this, I was not the only one on that week that he refused to talk to. There were several others. It just didn't make it public. And in fact, if I had never asked him a question at that press conference, I don't know that this would have gotten out, because I don't think Jon cares enough about me or any of those other people to make it public. He just wants to dismiss us. But I'm not the only one. Just to be very 100% clear about that. There are other ones, and you can look around and see who didn't get interviews, and you can see I'm not the only one. Okay? It's just I happened to ask him a question. He has some issue with me, and so there it goes. So anyway, so that day I talked to his manager once over text, and then I saw him in person at the Fighter Hotel, and I was like, you want to tell me what this is about? And at first he didn't know. Then he spoke to him. And then what I understand is just a series of negative comments that, or at least comments he interpreted as negative in the course of, I don't know, the last couple of years or so. It wasn't quite clear. They didn't exactly pinpoint at least at that time. They might know better now. I haven't spoken to Malky since, but and I talked to other members of his inner circle as well, and they were all surprised by it too. So I tried to get to the bottom of it to see exactly what it was, because look, here's the deal, and I'll say this now, and I'll say this forever. If any fighter or any manager or whatever feels like I've covered them in a way that is uniquely unfair and out of bounds, I'm happy to hear what their complaints are. I'm not telling them I'm going to apologize necessarily, but I have in the past when I was wrong. For example, and I've done it publicly as well. I interviewed Brian Stan, and I hired someone to transcribe, and they transcribed it all totally messed up. I didn't check it, published it, and he got really furious with me. And it wasn't until I went back to the transcription and the audio that I realized it was a giant mess. I apologized in public to him because I owed him that. It was a terrible mistake. Now, this was almost 10 years ago. We're fine now, but I've done it. But I'll tell you this. I one time had a promotion call me up, furious. I didn't apologize. I didn't do anything wrong. They wanted a copy of an interview I did with somebody. Turned it in. You know, they expected an apology. They didn't get one. Right? Because here's the deal. These fighters don't owe us anything. I said this with Ronda Rousey. Remember that? When she didn't want to talk to us at 207? What I thought was it was a bad look that if you're so fragile, you can't talk to anybody in the media, that you don't even want to face them at a press conference. Nothing. That signaled something bad. But does she owe us anything? They don't owe us anything. They never have, and they never will. And I'm okay with that. It doesn't bother me at all. Everyone's like, what did you do? It looks like I did my job. That's what it looks like. Again, if they are able to identify a piece of content that is over the line, okay, I'll take a look at it. I'm not guaranteeing that I will in any way take it back, but, you know, I do this. I do my Monday Morning Analyst. I do, 10 hours plus of radio a week, plus the beat. At some point, and especially when you speak extemporaneously, you might go over the line sometimes. Maybe there's something there. I don't think so, but I'm willing to hear them out. But if it's just common conduct in the course of editorial responsibilities, then I will do nothing about it. And someone was saying here, I think, what about if you don't get any closure? I'm not looking for closure. I'm looking to do my job. if you do this job and what you want is fighters to like you, you are doing this job poorly. Now, look, I'm not out there trying to make enemies. In fact, I'm actually out there trying to foster relationships. I don't love this scenario. It's something that makes me delighted. I'm not delighted by it. I wish it was different. But the most important thing I can stick to is to not be bullied by stuff like that, whether it's him or anybody else. It's to ignore it. Not ignore it, but I mean, you cannot give in to pressure if what you've done is fair criticism. And guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Have we not spent the last few years with a lot of you being mad at me for, if anything, being too soft on him? After him hard enough by your judgment? I mean, one of the first things I thought was, I was like, okay, he's mad at me for criticizing him, and I have. Okay. But wait till he finds out what everyone else has been saying. I mean, if you're mad about what I've been saying, wow, you should see what they're saying back there. It's a lot worse. But I don't say those things. Look, when he pulled out of UFC 151, I defended him. I don't take that back at all. When it was revealed he was doing coke, I didn't think it was a good thing, but I defended him. I don't take that back at all. Because I don't say those things to make fighters like me, nor do I say things to get fighters to get mad at me. I'm not trolling them. Isn't what you want us to be honest with you? Isn't that what you want? Is the coverage you want from us all fighter approved? It's not possible. It would be boring. It would be terrible. So I'm not going to give that to you. And if it means guys don't want to talk to me, cool. I'll hit the nuclear option with all of them before I stop being honest with you. It's not worth it. Now, if there's a way to reconcile this with Jones, I am happy to seek it out. But if there's not, and it's something he wants to maintain for the rest of his career, frankly, I respect it. I don't want to be under false pretenses with a guy, and I don't want to be under pressure to say things I don't mean. And I'm not going to. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to keep doing my job. I have no animus to Jon. I thought he handled it poorly. I thought there was a better way he could have handled that with me, but he didn't. Okay, duly noted. But it's not going to result unless they can demonstrate in some clear and obvious way that something was totally over the line, which I have a hard time believing. It will just be what it is. And I am perfectly okay with that. I got good sleep in Anaheim. Believe me, I got good sleep this week, because it would be a disaster to take this moment and then turn around and say, well, I guess I better say things that fighters like, because otherwise they won't talk to me at press. Oh, okay. I mean, these guys don't owe you anything. When they come on my show, I treat them very nicely because they're our guest. I don't ever expect them to come on. They don't owe me anything. Now, maybe they owe the UFC something, right? In their contract, it says, you have to reasonably promote to the media, but that doesn't mean they got to promote it to me. So if they don't want to talk to me, they don't have to. But I can't stop being honest, because then what are you? You're a shell of a person. So the answer is not to yell at Jon when he acts rudely at a press conference. The solution is not to say, I'm going to get back at him. These are what cowards do. That's what losers do. Oh, he tried to insult me in public. I need to stick it to him. Nope. I'm a pro. He is not the first fighter that's going to be mad at me. Trust me, he is not the last. It is part of the job. Here's a lesson to everyone who wants to be in MMA media. If you want to have any ability to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I did my job, I called it down the line, and people got mad about it, and understandably mad about it. How would you like it if somebody who doesn't know you was criticizing your life? Would you love it? Probably not. Irrelevant. Your job is to call it as you see it. This time, tomorrow, every time. It does not matter if they like it or not. Now, you have a responsibility to call things with a degree of fairness. You can't just go out there and just say whatever you want. But I'm pretty sure you guys accused me of year over year over year of not being all that hard on him, of not being all that tough on him. I thought I was appropriately tough on him. So if that is something he's not happy with, I can totally understand that. But it's not going to change my coverage, not even a little. I have a job to do, and I intend to stick to doing it. Now, can we please let that be the end of this? I have literally given you every piece of information that I know about this. I respect that he doesn't want to talk to me, and he's mad, but if it's for doing my job, then that's the end of it, because I will not stop doing that.